Hello guys, my name is John Mungai and today we are going to talk about money.
Sure, it is Money Matters on your best financial informative channel, quenching your thirst with Willis Nyakundi. If you are new here, we will really appreciate your subscription and turn on that notification bell for future empowering videos. Time to let John Mungai take us through the history of money.
I've heard that people say money makes the world go round, and I would agree with that statement because at the end of the day, money is the reason why majority of us are working. Nobody knows what tomorrow holds, but apparently money will help us to have a better tomorrow. So let's begin with the basics. What is money? So in layman's language, money is simply a medium of exchange, either paper notes or banknotes or coins. That is what basically money is. But where did it come from? Because in the beginning, it was not so. Our ancestors in the prehistoric days were not using paper notes and coins. Throughout history, the concept of money has dramatically changed. From the barter system of the Stone Age era, up to now, the complex fiat currency system, of which majority of us even don't know what that is. Each evolution tells a story of human innovation, of society's change, and most importantly, the economy's necessities. At the end of the day, every change, every adaptation, every evolution is because of a certain need, a certain human need. So, let's begin with the earliest form of currency, what is commonly referred to as the barter system. So barter trade, I would say, is a form of exchange of goods and services. You come with eggs, I give you milk. You come with meat, I give you baskets. You come with baskets, I give you fish. So that was how barter trade used to work. And our ancestors back in the Stone Age era used to use this mode of transaction. There weren't any papers or banknotes there. There weren't any coins at that time. So the only thing they could do was use what they had. So if I had eggs and I needed milk, I would just look for somebody who had milk and exchange. That was how barter trade system worked. Now, our ancestors survived for a bit with that system, but as all of us know, that every invention, every system has its limitation. And one of the biggest limitations with the barter trade system was that it was hard to find somebody with something or with the thing you wanted. By around 3000 BCE, before the Common Era or before Christ, our ancestors decided to look for a better monetary system. And this is where they came up with the commodity money. Commodity money, what is it? Commodity money simply means using items with intrinsic value as money. These are items or things such as salt, grains, or even sometimes livestock. So items or commodities which were mostly valued or which were more valued and widely used would be the ones used as money. If you wanted to buy a piece of land, you just give salt, or you give livestock, or you'd give grain, whichever one was most valued, and the people would accept. Now, this shift allowed for more standardized exchange of goods and services. Fast forward to 600 BCE, to a group of people called Lydians, who belong in a place which today is known as Turkey. These guys invented another form of money called metal coins. So what they did was they minted metal alloys to form coins, which were used as money at that time. So the common metal was electrum, which was an alloy of silver and gold. That is a mixture of gold and silver. So they minted that coin and they sculptured, or they just drew the face of the monarch or the king of that place, and that coin became the money at that time. These coins provided a more standardized way of buying and selling things, which made the economy stable and helped advance the monetary system. By the 7th century, during the Tang dynasty in China, Another mode of money called the paper money emerged. I believe all of you know what paper is. So this basically was like promissory notes, whereby the notes would stand for money. Let's say you have like 1,000 coins in the banks of those days. So the bank would provide you with a note. So if you went to the bank with that promissory note, you would be given that amount of money. So that's how China in the Tang dynasty used to operate. It became a means of exchange by the 11th century, meaning a lot of people adopted that mode because it was easier to carry papers, it was easier to make them, compared to coins, which is a lot harder. So a lot of people adopted it, and it is spread so far and wide, even reaching the Western European countries, that is. This innovation spread via what was known as the Silk Road, thereby revolutionizing the way money works. And it spread far and wide. Fast forward to the 19th century. And this is where nations all over the world adopted what was known as the gold standard, whereby the currency, remember now we've come from barter trade to commodity money to metal coins to paper money. So that paper money was now linked to gold, thereby calling this the gold standard. So the currency was linked to gold. So the government at that time would be able to agree on the price of gold. And so that price of gold would be measured with the money. Let me give you an example. 1 kilogram of gold was worth 1,000 Kenya shillings. This was decided by the government of those countries. And so what the government would do, they would come and pile up gold, a lot of gold. And let's say they piled up gold, or like let's say 1,000 kilograms worth of gold. They would be able to print notes worth 1,000 kilos of gold. So that's how the gold standard was. And they would not be able to print more money if they had less gold. So the more gold they had, the more money they printed. That was the gold standard. In the 1930s, something called the Great Depression happened in the United States of America. This is where the economy was in crisis. Inflation was on the rise. Businesses were not doing well. Businesses were failing. People were losing jobs. People were not able to feed their families, to provide shelter and the basic needs in the society. What happened is the president of that time, by the name Franklin D. Roosevelt, implemented something called the Emergency Banking Act, which prohibited people to privately own gold. If you were a random citizen at that time in the United States of America, you were prohibited from owning gold. Later on, they came up with another act where everybody who had gold was required to exchange it for dollars, or the currency at that time, which was the dollars, and which they did. And now, this is where now the money was now linked to the gold you had. So if you had like that gold you had, let's say you had gold necklaces, you are required to exchange that gold. You give to the banks, the central bank of the United States, and the bank would give you the equivalence in notes, the banknotes that they were making. So this move was indeed aimed at stimulating the economy, which it did actually. It gave the Federal Reserve, or the organization that controls money, the printing of money in the United States, power to print more money and to control the spending and the usage of money. Well, that time it helped the economy grow and it alleviated the economic crisis. A lot of people critiqued this system, saying that it would not be able to stand the test of time, and true to their words, it did not, because they realized that this system was not really favoring or favorable to majority of the people. President Nixon of the United States in the year 1971 decided to take the government of the United States off the gold standard, seeing that they had no enough gold and they needed money. So what would they do? They decided to take the government or the dollar off the gold standard, meaning that no longer would the dollar be linked to gold, but it would be linked to whatever the government said. So being the superpower, it called the shots and decided, since we call the shots, we will decide what this currency will be valued at. So trust us. And they decreed it, and it was like so. And so what happened was, during this economic crisis, countries like France decided, hey, we don't trust the American government because we see that they are having a bit of trouble managing the economy. We don't want them keeping our gold. So they decided to come and send their ships to come and bring back all their gold. And this was where now the president, Nixon, decided to really take their country off the gold standard, leading to the current financial or monetary system. This is called the fiat currency. Fiat currency is simply the banknotes that you use right now. The coins that you use, that is fiat money. Fiat money is money that has no intrinsic value. The money's value comes from a government decree and the trust which the people of that nation give the government. So my friends, today we live in a fiat system. The dollar, the euro, the pound, sterling pound, the Australian dollar, the Chinese yuan, the Japanese yen, the Kenyan shillings. That is fiat system. From barter system to the fiat system, we have truly advanced a lot. And we are very lucky, you and I, who are privileged to be alive in the year of our Lord 2024. We are witnessing another innovation. This is called digital currency. Currencies such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, and so on and so forth. Pioneers such as Satoshi Nakamoto, who founded Bitcoin, have spearheaded this new innovation, which I believe in the current years will be the norm, such as it has been with fiat currency and the gold standard before it. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't know what the future holds, but what we see is that innovation keeps on happening, and the systems that we use now might not be used in the future. So for you who doesn't understand these things, it is good for you to understand them, learn them, because at the end of the day, if you are going to make money and if you are going to be successful at making money, one thing you have to do is you have to understand what money is, where it comes from, and why it is used the way it is. Thank you very much, and I hope I have enlightened you. See you next time, and have a nice day.
Informative piece it has been, and we believe you are properly equipped. Don't mind to comment and share. We are looking forward to your feedback. Thank you for watching.